you went to graduate school in America?
Yes, I went to
And,
UT Austin.
and so you basically, when you went to graduate school, you didn't go back to China. You basically left China when you went to graduate school, or did you go back to China afterwards?
Right, right. And people always ask me, oh, did your family get into trouble because of that? No, because what happened, remember 1989 when Tiananmen Square massacre happened? And Bush was president at that time. He gave all the Chinese students in this country a refugee status. So you're talking about 300, 400,000, all Chinese in this country got a political refugee status. So they could not single me out because I stayed here. So,
Right.
so I was okay. And of course I married American citizen. And then when you get married as American citizen, you can get also conditional green card, conditional permanent resident status. Then 2 years later become like a permanent resident. Then 5 years later, if you pass your American civics citizens test, then you can become US citizen. So the first time I become citizen, I think it was 1995, because I married to my husband 1990, and he's from Texas. Imagine I met him the first night in Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's adorable. That's wonderful.
I know I could not even speak English very well, but we dated for 18 months, and he was teaching me about American culture and language, and he was very patient. And I always had to write down what he said, go look at my dictionary. And people always say, how did you become so liberty-minded? Also said to him. He told me, but it take me 20 years though, to really get rid of my educational indoctrination, brainwashing from China. Because I come to this country, and when my English got better, I was fighting against my government, but I did not have a foundation, a concept, ideology. I just want government, leave me alone, right? But after I came to this country, I was still big government believer. Oh, government should do this. Just like today, lots of people, government should do that. It's like government is the solution to our problems. 2008, I woke up because my husband told me to read some books. I realized how many lies in my life they gave to me in China. And government is not a solution. Government is
Right.
the problem. So
Yes.
I become more and more libertarian 2008. That's 20 years in this country. 20
Yeah.
years I woke up. That's how long it will take you if you are indoctrinated all your life. You might take a lifetime to reverse that.
Now, when you came to America, you mentioned you only had $100. You didn't have very much when you came to America. So how did you survive in the first year or two or so of you being in America?
Well, I did not make much money as a faculty member. And my parents actually were in terrible shape financially. They're always in debt. So when I become faculty member, worked in Shanghai for 3 years, I sent partial my salary to my poor working parents in Chengdu every month, because I want to thank them to support me go through 4 years college. My dad sent me food money every month. And so I did not save much money. And so when I wanted to leave China, I had lots of good friends. I was always sociable, outgoing, so I made lots of friends in college. Some are lifetime friends, and some I don't know where they are today, probably in all over the world too. And I said, can I raise $10? Can I borrow $10? $10, $10. Remember, Chinese dollar, Chinese yuan to American that time is like a 1 to 5 or something. 1 US dollar equal to 5 or 6 Chinese yuan. So I had to borrow a lot to make it $100. And so I basically to say, hey, $10 here, $10 there, I will pay you back. I will make good money. I will become rich. I was confident I will make it. I will pay you back with interest. So 5 $20 bills when I come to this country. It was very funny, Christine, when I arrived at an airport and transfer in Denver, I had to go fly to Austin. And the American guy saw me pulling my heavy suitcase without wheels. And I was struggling, I had one suitcase, I was struggling because no wheels, right? And he came in to offer me like $5 or something. I did not understand English. I said, oh, no, 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 thank you, thank you. He asked me to use that $5 to go get a buggy, rent a buggy, then put my suitcase there so I don't have to pull so hard. But I said, oh, no, 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 thank you. I did not understand. I was pulling because I just did not know there's other solution, right? And that was very nice of, my first impression of just random stranger offer me money. It's like, why did he offer me money? I was still being a very traditional Chinese. I couldn't communicate with him. So I did not touch my $20 bills until I got to my destination, Austin, Texas. And of course, my sponsor, American sponsor, a professor in UT Austin, and picked me up and took me to his home. So in exchange to have a free housing, because I could not afford to live on my own, I cooked, I cleaned. And my neighbor next door, which was my future, actually mother-in-law, John's mom. So my sponsor said, let's go meet your dean of the School of Social Work in your graduate school. I said, I'm too tired, had the air sick, I was throwing up, and I'm tired. He said, no, 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 everybody is waiting for you. So when I reached my sponsor's house in Austin, Texas, and John and his brother came out and to take my suitcase to my sponsor's house. And my mother-in-law at the door said, welcome to Austin, Texas. Here's my garden, one red rose from her garden. Oh, I just feel like she was just so nice and kind of motherly like. And everybody was so nice. And so they invited me to go to their house. They said, well, our neighbor, your sponsor told us you love ice cream and watermelons. That was in May. Texas was pretty hot. And I had to be polite because, of course I loved ice cream and watermelon in Shanghai. It was so hot. There was no air conditioning and humid, but in Austin, I was air sick. But in order to be polite, I didn't know how to communicate. I ate everything they offered to me just to be polite, even though my stomach was hurting. It's a funny story that I said, geez, John, I had a diarrhea for 2 weeks. And it's not because of watermelon ice cream. It's because when you change your stomach in a new country, you change your soil. You're cleaning the system. It could be in the water I drink, just not used to it. So I took all my Chinese medicine with me, come to this country. After 2 weeks diarrhea, my stomach has changed. I was so healthy for the entire first year. I didn't need those Chinese medicines. I just threw them away.
Yeah.
So I paid my bills, live cheaply until I did get my research assistantship in graduate school. And that's what my dean said. I got your job as RA. Oh my, just like my heart was so heavy, worried about how to pay bills. And it's like, oh, thank God. I got a job. I said, I don't know what to do. My English is bad. She said, I'm a scientist. You just check numbers for me. Oh, so I paid in-state tuition.
Wow.
Not a great international student rate.
Wow, you were very, very blessed. Oh my gosh, you were
very blessed. I wonder, it's like a destiny. I met my husband first night, and I got a job first night. I came over from China, $1,200 in debt, borrowed $100. It's like my mom said, "Oh, Buddha bless you, Buddha bless you." And my friend said, God bless you. God sent your husband to you and your husband's family. I'm so blessed. Ever since the first night I come to this country, that's why I love America.
Yeah. So after graduate school, first, what did you go to graduate school for?
And School of Social Work. And specialization is the administration and the planning.
Okay. And so after graduate school, did you go back to China, or did you stay in America and build a family?
Well, and here's the funny story. My husband and I, we got engaged. We're both in graduate school, and my family said, bring him home. We check him out. We'll give you approval. First of all, I don't need approval. I'm only 7. I know I'm the most educated, but they just want to make sure it's a family courtesy. You let them check out your future spouse. But I told my family I can't. I'm an international student. If I take them back to China as I'm still foreign student, what if I cannot come back to the United States? my years and years nightmare, like I was trapped in China. I could not get out. So I'm not gonna take that risk. So I asked my family to bless me to marry myself out. I had a wonderful godmother in Austin, Texas. So she acted like my mother. I have my American sponsor act like my father. So they gave me away at my wedding when I married John. So after I got married, I get this piece of paper, conditional green card status. So I was confident if I go back to China, nothing can stop me from coming back.
Right.
So that's what, yeah. So we were in graduate school, and I think I graduated already, but John's still in graduate school. So that's first time I took him, my husband, to China to visit. Everybody just loved him. And then we come back, and he continued to finish graduate school. And I was pregnant with our first child. So I worked part-time, or raised children, family, two boys in Wyoming, and with my master's degree. And later, when John got a job with Hughes Aircraft, they sent us to Hong Kong for 2 years. So I know that was a great
Wow.
experience. In Hong Kong, I loved the Hong Kong free market. No, you know how they file tax return? A postcard,
Really? Wow.
a postcard,
Wow.
flat income tax, 15% with a couple of deductions. Boom, send out. And those sales tax, so everybody work hard, have their own little business, and one of the most free market in the world. Everybody wants to come to Hong Kong to start business, make money. I met Pakistanis, Indians, Filipinos, Thai people, lots of British there, working. It was like a little international city. It was great. And I got a first job in an international trading company, and to be some corporate manager between Hong Kong and China. And I learned a lot in those 2 years in Hong Kong.
And
It's so
so,
sad to say where Hong
yeah.
Kong is today.
Oh, I agree, and we can talk about that a little bit later because it's actually funnily it's personal. It's personal for me, and I'll tell you about that later. But so did your personnel file ever affect you when you went back to China after a while, or did it ever affect you from being able to travel? Because eventually you didn't go back to China, like you stayed in America. So did it ever affect you or
Yeah, but
impact
the
you?
reason I gave to you because Bush's blanket political refugee
Ah, okay,
status.
yeah,
So that did not affect me or my
okay,
family. Yeah, thank
okay,
goodness for that. I did go back to China a few times, and my last time was 2015.
okay. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and
I
so
know.
yeah, and so you did this international trading company thing, and when you finally settled in America, how did things go? I hear that things went quite well for you. How did things go? You got a
Well,
taste
to
of the
summarize,
yeah.
right. To summarize that, after we come back from Hong Kong, it was 1998. So my husband came back to Hughes Aircraft, who sent us to Hong Kong and then purchased by Raytheon, defense contractor Raytheon. So we come back to Denver, and we bought a house, and I got a job also. So we both were working. When I was pregnant, about to have our third child, our last child, a daughter, and John and I, we settled down in Parker, Colorado, moving to the house, our first starter's home, actually our American dream house, because I made sure we have like enough toilet for everybody. Like
Oh, yeah,
4.5
of course.
baths, yes.
Of course.
It's like, no more fighting over toilet, because that just hit me so hard. And so I was not political Christian. I was working, raise family, pay bills. And in 2000, I got laid off by a company I worked for, telecommunication. Remember telecom bubble in the
Yes. Yes.
that time. I got a pink slip. They asked me to leave that day, walk to the door. I was so devastated. What I'm going to do now? My American dream, come to a halt. It's like, what should I do? I just remembered that I always wanted to be a self-employed, be my own boss, pay my own bills. So after this terrible experience, I was saying, I was thinking maybe I should start my business and to be consultant with my bilingual, bicultural background experience, international experience in business in Hong Kong. Maybe I should make it okay because I have law degree from China and I could do consulting. And so I started my own business when I got laid off. But for first 8 years, I was not profitable. And the project come and go, it's not consistent. After you add all your expenses, you are not profitable. And I was focused on raising 3 kids with my husband. So my husband's income was the only source of income we had until 2008. 2008, when every day you hear on TV, my English got better. Actually, during those 8 years time when I was laid off, I had the time to get involved in politics. I read
Oh,
more. I read
really?
those books. Yes, I read those books. My husband recommend to read, and I got involved with our HOA because I said, well, since I have time now, I'm an American citizen. I should participate in this democratic grassroots process. Why HOA is raising my fee every year, right? I'm gonna get involved. So I got involved. I ran for board, and later my kids were kind of doing some things in public schools I did not like. So hard for my 2 boys in this public schools where we live. I put them out, put them into charter school. When I went to one presentation, so, oh, charter school, parents control. I love that concept. Parental control, that's right, it's very dear to me, right? I had a school
Right.
choice. And I'm taking my kids out, put them in charter school. I got involved on the board. I even become chairwoman one year. I had to fire a principal. I gave her a call to say, we're not going to renew your contract.
Oh my.
It was a very,
Wow.
it was a very empowering experience.